Hello. It's been so long since I've seen you guys. This is part two of my um, question and answers that I'm just trying to get through to kind of catch up a little bit. Some of these have been kind of waiting for a while. I got my pendulum over there. But we're going to use the rods for part two of questions and answers and spirit. Clearly, you are here. You are really here, aren't you? That's a yes. When it crosses over, it's a yes. If you see my hands move, it is incidental because the energy, there's a part of the wand goes down into the end here. Just make sure they're tight. Anyway, but they're freely moving. So they move with the energies. So if you see my fingers rock, I'm not moving them. These are being moved by the energy of the creator or spirit or God or Buddha or Allah or whatever deity you assign, whatever name you assign to the creator. I assign the creator or spirit or the one force, because I always love to say, may the force be with you. Yes, I love Star Trek and I love Star Wars. I've seen every single movie a million times. My Star Wars, just love. Love, 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 love. Love them all. The newer ones, and the originals. And I wish they had what do I want to call it? Kind of like sometimes they'll do Star Wars weekends or, whatever, like those kinds of movies. I stream my media with Roku, and I do not have cable. I am not a cable girl. I used to be, but this is more efficient. I pay $50 a month. I have unlimited TV, unlimited internet, because the TV is really like the internet. I have YouTube. I like when they did that Beatles special on Netflix a couple years back, maybe a few years back. I got Netflix for a week. You get a week free, that first 7 days. Watched it and ended my Netflix. So I don't want cable. I don't need cable. The only bad thing is, and by the way, this is for entertainment purposes only, and I hope I'm being entertaining. I'm trying to share a little bit of me with you because people often are interested. I know I am with other readers and psychics and mediums and so on and so forth. But I would like to be able to watch my sports live. I am a football chick. Not because of Taylor Swift, who I adore, I might add. No hating on Taylor. I will throw you out of here. I mean that. No hating. If you don't like her, that's okay. But do not, I won't say it again, do not be hating on Tay-Tay. Do not be hating on Travis or the Kelseys, because I love their podcast and all of that. But I have been a football person since I was 18. So that would be 61 years. I know the game. I understand the game. I understand the calls. I understand more about football than most people I know. There was a time in my family, I am the youngest of 3 girls, when my sisters would be like, I don't like the costume, they knew nothing about football, nothing about hockey. Now, Red Wings, nothing about baseball. Now, of course, they think that they know everything. And I do not, admittedly, watch baseball as much as I used to. And I do not watch hockey as much as I used to when the Red Wings were champs and or competitive. So that kind of makes me a fair weather fan, but I have much love for the organization. I'm getting the chills. Either that or my neck is hurting. Um, but I do love my sports, and I prefer college football to the NFL. However, the Detroit Lions and I'm sorry, you guys, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I just am, and that's the way it is. And yes, I do adore Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and that whole thing because I'm 69 going on 28, 38. Okay, whatever. That's who I am. I like sports. In fact, one of the things I was going to do, I'm still contemplating it. I don't know how much interest there would be on this, but I am going to be starting a membership. I think I've mentioned that before. I just don't know when, but I'm going to do it. It makes it hard when I'm working um, to set it up. But anyway, I'm going to do that. But I was going to do a football Friday when the season starts, particularly college. I don't know that I'm going to do it for sure. I don't know if there would be any interest in that. Let me know what you think. Men and women like football. And I have been a football fan since Bo Schembechler was the coach and Ricky Leach was the quarterback, and even Dennis Miller, or not Dennis Miller, Dennis Franklin, excuse me, was the quarterback. So, and I have a bottle of Charles Woodson Cab waiting for the day to come to celebrate. I will not be able to drink it live because that is not appropriate. But I will tell you, if I have my membership thing going, we're partying together. It doesn't have to be alcohol to party. Okay. The Trump kids and future political aspirations. Spirit. Will we ever see any of these genetic deviants? Sorry, guys. I just can't help it. In political office or in the political arena after their father is done? No. Let's ask it another way. Will any of Felon 45's children run for public office in the now or future during my lifetime? No. 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 I think I read on this already this morning in part 1. I did, but let's ask the rods the same question, okay? Will we ever abolish the Electoral College, Spirit? Same answer as the pendulum. Yes. Spirit, will we abolish this after the midterms? Not immediately, but at some point when the blue hats are in charge. Yes. Big, big yes. Spirit, will we abolish this with a law? You know how a bill is made? Anybody watch Sesame Street with their kids or with their, when they were kids? They didn't have Sesame Street. I had Romper Room. They didn't talk about that kind of stuff. Maybe it was the electric company. How is a bill made? Anyway, Congress puts forth a bill that gets voted on. If it passes Congress, it goes to the Senate for their approval. If the Senate changes one iota of the language, it goes back to Congress for their approval of changes, markups, whatever you want to call it. And then back to the Senate. And then to the desk in the office of Oval for the person who is at the top of that food chain of the executive branch to sign. Once it becomes a law, it has no bearing on SCOTUS. Is that clear? How is the bill made? Okay. So we got that. All right, let's talk about Jack. Jack and further prosecutions on Felon 45 and the 13-year-old person that you know what he did. And she wasn't the only one. Will Jack be including some of these events in his legal research, or has he included that in his legal research in terms of Felon 45 and the prosecution of this person? Yes. Another question I have. This is my question. Will AOC ever run for the highest office in the land? May not be till I'm much older, but I'd vote for her in a minute. You do not, as you know, have to be a lawyer. Pendulum says yes. Okay, another question. Will the amazing, I have the chills when I think of her, Jasmine Crockett, my goodness, woman, I freaking love you. And I am sending love and light to both Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Jamie Raskin, Hakeem Jeffries, Jared Moskowitz, and every single Democrat that is in high office, whether state or local or federal. I think that covers pretty much all of it. Will Jasmine ever run for the highest office in the land? Better question. Will AOC ever become the President of the United States? Okay, that's a no. For now, energies change, and so does the demographic population. Younger. My niece, my oldest great niece is 6. In 12 years, she will be able to vote. Do we know you know what I'm saying? We will become more and more progressive as a country once we fix all the things that are broken. And there are lots of broken things. Let me go back to my questions. One more. Will my woman, my girl, and yes, I'm straight, but I don't think that that's relevant. I didn't mean it that way. Spirit knows that. Will Jasmine Crockett, oh my God, I love her so much. You just don't know. You don't know. Will she ever be elected President of the United States? The energy that speaks today says yes. Will Jasmine Crockett ever take a position in advance of the future other as Attorney General for any administration? Will she ever be offered? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. It's 17 minutes in. Let's pull some cards. Just general vibe. I don't have enough time before the 30-minute thing ticks out, but let's pull some liminal space cards. They're kind of like an oracle. They are really an oracle deck, but they don't call themselves that. Liminal space, liminal space. Look it up. The big Amazon. You can find it likely at other online retailers that are, in the spirituality thing, Etsy, etc. I've never seen these on Etsy, but I don't know. If you shop on any of those, like Temu or whatever, which I am not recommending any site, I'm just giving you opportunities for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. So let's pull some of these just for fun. Let's have some fun. Hope everybody's doing well today. I'm not sure when you'll watch this. Could be any time. I still am going to do tonight another video tonight. More in the standard card thing. Questions, please. Anyone. In your comment, in your on my post page, preferably, but nobody said puts it on the post. But it's okay. I'm not mad about that. Please don't think that. I just don't want to miss the question. You get it. You guys are smart. So, what's cooking? liminal space. Can you give us some vibe for, today? It's still the morning here. It is 10:27 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the United States of America. The home of Lincoln, Washington, Truman, Eisenhower, FDR. You talk about a conservative. Awesome. My beloved Bill Clinton, who was one of the coolest presidents we ever had. Please, no comments about her. I know all about it. You know that I follow these things. I don't care. I'm not talking about his wife, HRC. Love her. Really love her. Went to see her live at the Hill Auditorium in Ann Arbor a bunch of years ago. Not like 20 years ago, but after the debacle. I went with my niece. We had a blast. It was like a one-on-one. She was interviewed. It was just awesome. All right, liminal space. One more. And by the way, the person who said I need to be 6 inches higher to shuffle, I'm sure that you really meant it, but I'm kind of hoping you meant it as a joke, because there's not a chance in Hades that I'm going to be 6 inches higher than any table, even the space that I'm eyeing for kind of like a space. However, this is okay, isn't it? Is anyone having problems with this space? You've seen it before. By the way, that cabinet in the back over there is from 1948. It is solid maple. It was my parents'. It had a table with it. It's got all my mom's, like, when they got married in those days, they would have painted china cups, and they're Wedgwood, and there's, Anyway, let's move on. Ah, yes, the passing of time. It almost looks like an hourglass, but not really. They're going to go right over the edge here. You see that? Cool. Down in the river. I don't have really an interpretation, except that I hope they all go down the river or up the river. Ooh. Blood sacrifice. Oh my God. It's bad. Playing God. Okay, so when I look at this card, I see the felon being yanked, not just by Pootie. Remember that reading I did on LL? You know. And that foundation, there's a lot of. The chain goes high. He's a useful idiot. We don't want him, but he's their useful idiot. Even they don't want him anymore. I have to be candid. Nostalgia. Beware. Beware. Do you see those canisters? That's a sign for nuclear waste. There will never be, and this is a prediction, okay? And I'm going to make it. There will not ever be a nuclear weapon that is deployed and successfully explodes like in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It will not happen. And if you really want to know why, we'll do a whole reading on extraterrestrials because they've been here forever and they will not allow it. You may deploy it, but it will be an unsuccessful deployment because they will stop it. The only intervention, according to everything that I have heard from people that know a lot about this, the only intervention that they will do is not letting us destroy the planet. I mean, we may destroy ourselves, like Noah's Ark kind of thing, but they, even though that's a fable, sorry, but it is. However, we will not be allowed to nuke. So it's time to get rid of them because you're wasting your time, you're wasting your science, and you're wasting your energy. Fortune favors the bold. Blue hats, be the bold. This is it, guys. My God has answered. And in Hebrew, right here, the word for God, I believe, is Elohim. And I could be wrong. Let me look this up. This I will look up. What is the Hebrew word for God? Exactly right. I'm sorry for the movement. The most common Hebrew word for God is Elohim, which is a plural noun but often used to refer to the one God. It also sometimes translated as gods or godhood. Another Hebrew name for God is El, E-L, which can mean strength, power, or the strong one. You understand? According to Hebrew Dictionary, the name Yahweh, also known as tetragrammation, is also considered a name for God, according to Britannica, but is generally not spoken aloud. Yahweh. I'll say it out loud. What did Jesus call God in Hebrew? Jehovah, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. That's your Hebrew lesson for the day. I told you I used to live there. I was born to a Jewish family. My amazing parents. And I wasn't raised like my mom was raised real Orthodox because she's first generation and they came over on Ellis Island and, all that. But anyway, I'm just sharing a little bit about my heritage. I'm not a practicing Jewish person. I I'm a practicing spiritual person. I believe in being good. And I hope you do too. Believe in being good. You're entitled to any belief you may have. I am completely fine no matter what you believe. And if for any reason I may have offended anyone, that was not my intention. And I apologize to those who may have found that offensive. But it is my channel. Anyway, I love you guys more than you're going to ever know. I will see you tonight. I'm going to do another one, like around dinner time. I'm going to stop this here and I'm going to make some food. Eggs, always. I'm a breakfast freak. Love eggs. Always eggs. I wish you peace.